Chapter 4.1. Hello, this class begins at 10:30 p.m. I have 4 books for this course. Rosa has 4 classes this semester, but she only has 2 books. Well, today we're going to see how we say in Spanish the verb to have. Have meaning possession, and as you will see, we use the verb to have, the verb tener in Spanish very often. Yeah? Also, we're going to see the demonstrative adjectives, which is this and that and those. And it's something that we use also very often. Is an adjective because describe an object. For example, this semester describes the semester. And also we're going to see how we say that in Spanish. Well, in this translation here we have hello. Well, hello. We already know that is hola. This class begins at 10:30 p.m. Well, this is esta clase begins, comienza at 10:30 de la tarde. This class begins at 10:30 p.m. Esta clase empieza a las 10:30 de la tarde. I have 4 books. Yo tengo 4 libros, 4 books, for this course, para este curso. Rosa has 4 classes this semester. Rosa tiene 4 clases este semestre. Pero, she only has 2 books. Ella solo tiene 2 libros. So, hello, hola. This class begins at 10:30 p.m. Esta clase empieza a las 10:30 de la tarde. I have 4 books for this course. Yo tengo 4 libros para este curso. Rosa has 4 classes this semester. Rosa tiene 4 clases este semestre. But she only has 2 books. Pero ella solo tiene 2 libros. Okay? So let's begin with the verb tener. The verb tener, as I said before, means to have, but is to have meaning possession. When you want to say something like, I have a book, or I have a house, or I have even a brother, right? In those cases, we use the verb tener in Spanish. Tener is a very regular verb. And as you see here, when you conjugate tener, it's not like the verbs that we have seen so far, that you basically drop the ending and then you add the endings. For the present, in this case, what you do is you see that the stem is also very different. So when you, the infinitive is tener, but when you conjugate the yo form, you have to say yo tengo. Yo tengo, you see the G right here. So when you conjugate the form yo, and you want to say I have a car or I have a house, you have to say yo tengo. Okay. The to form is tienes, okay? Tienes, you see the E here becomes IE. Tú tienes, you have. Then we have the él, ella, and usted form, which is tiene. It's the same as the to form, but doesn't have the S. Now then we have nosotros o nosotras, we have tenemos, okay? Vosotros and vosotras, we have tenéis. And then the ellos, ellas, and ustedes, we have tienen. So you see the verb is completely regular because you have the yo form and then you have the tú, the él, ella, the I changes to I. We keep tenemos and tenéis the same way as an irregular verb, but then it's again irregular in the ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Okay? So it's tienen. So now when we use tener, okay? So tener usually indicates possession. So when you say yo tengo un carro, you are saying I have a car, I am the owner of the car, right? Also, when you say ella tiene una casa, well, you're saying that she has a house, she's the owner of the house. Or when you say nosotros tenemos muchos libros, well, we're saying we have a lot of books. Yeah? So we're the owners of a lot of books. So most of the situations with tener, you're going to use it meaning possession. The same thing we do in English, but only in that aspect that means possession, okay? And also, tener means sometimes expressions, like for example, I am 20 years old. Well, in English you say the verb I am, So, but in Spanish, we don't say yo soy. You have to use tener in that kind of situation. So you have to say yo tengo 20 años, yo tengo 20 años, o yo tengo 30 años, o ella tiene 15 años, ¿no? Also, there are other expressions. I suggest you to check also the book because you have more examples there. But for example, situations that in English usually go with the verb to be, in Spanish goes with the verb tener. For example, you have Luisa tiene sed. Well, in English you say Luisa is thirsty. Eh? Ella tiene miedo. Ella tiene miedo. Well, in English we say she is afraid. Or Juan tiene hambre. Juan is hungry. Okay, so, or yo tengo ansiedad, or I am nervous, or I am anxious. Okay, so those situations, this group of situations in English, what is important is that in English usually they go with the verb ser, the verb to be, but in Spanish we use the verb tener. So you say I am thirsty, yo tengo sed. Okay, that's the way it works. Well, those are the most important situations in which we use tener. And so remember, is possession, is also expressions like yo tengo 20 años, and also is a group of expressions that we use with the verb to be in English, but in Spanish have to be used with the verb ser, okay, with the verb tener. Now, besides that, we have these adjective demonstratives or demonstrative adjectives. In Spanish, we call it adjetivos demostrativos. But what is adjetivos demostrativos? Demostrar means to show. And these adjectives in English are these, that, and those, and they basically indicate if the object that you refer to is close or is far from you. So if I say this book, I'm referring a book is close to me. But if I say that book, I'm saying a book that is not close to me. Well, in Spanish, they do exactly the same. And also, we call it adjectives because in this case in particular, later on we will see what happens when they are a pronoun. But when they work as an adjective, basically they work with a noun and always are close to the noun. So when you say this book, this is basically describing the book. It's telling you if the book is close or far from you. When you say that table, that is describing the table and it's telling you if the table is far or close from you. Now, what is different in Spanish is that in English you only use this and this for something that is close when it's singular, and this when it's more than one, when it's plural and it's far from you. And that is when it's close to you, and those when it's far from you. So singular and plural. Well, in Spanish it works a little bit different. So in Spanish we have masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. So if you refer to, for example, the book, well, you're going to use este. Book is masculine and it's only one book, so you will say este libro. But if you talk about a table, it's going to be esta mesa. Well, in this case, when you use this group here, you're saying that this object, for example, this book, is close to you. It has to be masculine because book is masculine. Esta mesa, you're saying is close to me, but it's also feminine because mesa is feminine. If instead of book is books, more than one, so you say estos libros. And if it's feminine, you say estas mesas. So this group here, masculine, feminine, singular, and plural, will be used for something that is close to us. Now, in Spanish, we also have something that is in the context. For example, everything that is in the classroom is not close, is not far away, is in the context, inside the classroom in this case. Well, in this case, we have the same system. If it's masculine, we say ese. If it's feminine, we say esa. If it's masculine plural, esos. If it's feminine singular, we say esas. So, ese libro, I'm referring to one book that is in the classroom, but is not close to me. Esa mesa is in the classroom, but is not close to me. Esos libros, those books, is in the classroom, but is not close to me. And esas mesas will be more than one, which is not close to me. Now, we have another situation in Spanish, because in English you only have close and far, right? But in Spanish we have close in the context and also when something is very far away, outside the classroom, far away. In that case we use aquel, masculine singular, aquella, feminine singular, aquellos, masculine plural, en aquellas feminine plural. For example, if I see a car very far away from me, I will say aquel carro. If the car is in the classroom, I will say ese carro. If I am touching the car, I will say este carro. So as you see in Spanish, it goes close, context, or far away. Now, in this situation, for example, we have, you have this car is blue. Okay, so when we have something like that, when we have something like this car is blue, well, in this case, remember, carro is masculine singular, it's only one car, right? And in this case, we're going to use este. Well, I use este because it's close to me. Carro is masculine singular. And then the translation for this car is blue has to be este carro es azul. Este carro es azul. Okay? If I say that man, in this case, I'm referring to a man that is very far away from me, has a red car. In this case, I will say aquel hombre, I will use the group that is for far away, tiene un carro rojo, has a red car, un carro rojo. So you see that red, it goes in Spanish after car, right? So aquel hombre tiene un carro rojo. This woman is from Mexico. This woman is from Mexico. Well, this woman, I'm assuming that the woman is close to me. This woman is esta mujer, because it's feminine, es de México. Es de México. She's from Mexico. That house is yellow. Esa casa, in this case, I am assuming that the house is not very far away. So I will say, esa casa es amarilla. This tree is big. This tree, I'm touching the tree. Este árbol es grande. Este árbol es grande. Those dogs are small. Small, remember, are pequeño. In this case, it's plural, has to be pequeños. Those, esos o aquellos, depends if you refer to something that is more or less far, or if you say something that is very far away. So if you say something that is in the context or not far from you, you will say esos. If it's far away, you will say aquellos. Aquellos perros son pequeños. This student is intelligent. In this case, este estudiante es inteligente. This estudiante, we're assuming that this is a male, right? Este estudiante es inteligente. Okay? So this car is blue. Este carro es azul. This man has a red car. Aquel hombre tiene un carro rojo. This woman is from Mexico. Esta mujer es de México. The house is yellow. That house is yellow. Esa casa es amarilla. This tree is big. Este árbol es grande. Those dogs are small. Esos o aquellos perros son pequeños. And this student is intelligent. Este estudiante es inteligente. Yeah? So let's see a few more. So imagine that you have this conversation. Hello, hola, my name is Juan. Me llamo Juan. I am from Puerto Rico, but I live in New York. Yo soy de Puerto Rico, pero yo vivo en Nueva York. I speak English and Spanish, but I don't speak French. Yo hablo inglés y español, pero no hablo francés. So you will see that I can say yo hablo or I can say hablo. In Spanish it's the same because as the verb is ending with an O, we know who the subject is, okay? This person, typo here. These persons are my friends. Estas personas son mis amigas. I have 25 friends, but Rosa has 36 good friends. Yo tengo 25 amigos, pero Rosa tiene 36 buenos amigos. See you tomorrow. Hasta mañana. Okay, hasta la vista. Okay, see you later. Okay. Now, One more thing about this chapter is that we have seen some endings that are very easy to call, to basically translate into Spanish. In this case, we have the ending tion. So there is a bunch of words in English ending with collection, composition. So they're ending with tion. So usually what happens, these words are also very easy to translate in Spanish because basically in Spanish are ending with tion or sion. So tion basically, for example, when you say collection, you say colección in Spanish, composition, composición, eruption, erupción, evaluation, evaluación, addition, adición, conservación, conservation, conservación, evaluation, evaluación, estimation, estimación. So you see, usually the ending tion in Spanish becomes tion. It becomes C-I-O-N, okay? And all of them, they have an accent in Spanish, so just don't forget that. So this is another group that can be used in Spanish to get more words, to make easy the transition from English into Spanish. So just remember that this ending, most of the times, it has a correlation with the Spanish. Another group is the one ending with C and tion. Well, in this case, what is happening here is that the words are very similar, but the CT becomes in Spanish CC. So you see abstraction, you see CT here, in Spanish becomes abstracción, CC. Injection, inyección. Okay? Attraction, atracción. Collection, colección. Election, elección. Fraction, fracción. Inspection, inspección. Deduction, deducción. So those are very useful words also that you can use in Spanish. So now, if we have something like this conversation in Spanish, I think most of the things that we have here, you should know them. For example, if we want to say this in Spanish, we have seen all the situations, so probably it will not be difficult for you to translate. For example, we have hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. How do you say that? Hello, good morning. Hola, buenos días. My name is Gerardo. Me llamo Gerardo. And I live in Brooklyn. Yo vivo en Brooklyn. I am 20 years old and I work in an office. I am 20 years old and I work in an office. Yo tengo 20 años y yo trabajo en una oficina. Remember that I am in Spanish is I have, deber tener. Yo tengo 20 años. Okay? I don't like much sports, but I walk every day for 3 hours. I don't like much sports. No me gustan mucho los deportes, pero yo camino, walk, caminar, every day, todos los días, 3 horas, por 3 horas. No, I don't have a car. I don't have a car. Yo no tengo un carro. Yo no tengo un carro. But I do have a green bike. Pero yo tengo una bicicleta verde. Yo tengo una bicicleta verde, green. I have a green bike, una bicicleta verde. And I also have a collection of running shoes. Y yo también tengo, I also have, una colección de zapatillas de correr. Running shoes is zapatillas de correr. I have to get ready now for my Spanish class that begins at 10:30 p.m. Tengo que prepararme, get ready, prepararme, now, ahora, para mi clase de español que empieza a las 10:30 de la tarde. Hola, buenos días. Me llamo Gerardo y yo vivo en Brooklyn. Tengo 20 años y trabajo en una oficina. No me gustan mucho los deportes, pero yo camino todos los días por 3 horas. Yo no tengo un carro, pero yo tengo una bicicleta verde y también tengo una colección de zapatos para correr. Yo tengo, yo tengo que prepararme para mi clase de español que empieza a las 10:30. Now, hola, this is the way you write the conversation that we just saw. Hola, buenos días, me llamo Gerardo y vivo en Brooklyn. Tengo 20 años y trabajo en una oficina. No me gusta mucho hacer deporte, pero camino todos los días por 3 horas. No tengo carro, pero sí tengo una bicicleta verde y también tengo una colección de zapatillas para correr. Ahora me tengo que preparar para mi clase de español que empieza a las 10:30. Okay? Now, we're going to finish this class with some practice in Spanish, but in this case, I'm going to say it and you're going to hear the conversation. So how do you say, I have a car? Okay, I have a car is going to be something like, yo tengo un carro. Okay, what about he has a car? Well, he has a car is going to be, él tiene un carro. Él tiene un carro. What about we have a car? We have a car. Well, we have a car is going to be nosotros or nosotras, depends if the group is masculine or feminine. In this case, it's going to be nosotras tenemos un carro. But what happens if I want to say I don't have a car? I don't have a car. Well, when you want to say that in Spanish, what we do in Spanish usually, the main rule is we just place no in front of the verb. You see, I have a car, yo tengo un carro, but if I say yo no tengo un carro, I'm saying I don't have a car. Yo no tengo un carro. Okay? So I have a car, yo tengo un carro, I don't have a car, yo no tengo un carro. What about he doesn't have a car? He doesn't have a car. Well, in this case, he is going to be él. Sorry. Let me change this to Spanish. So it's going to be él no tiene un carro, right? Okay, what about we don't have a car? We don't have a car. Well, in this case, it's going to be nosotras no tenemos un carro. Okay? So remember, if you want to make it negative, if you want to make the sentence negative, you just put no in front. That will make it. Right? So how do you say, for example, do I have a car? Do I have a car? In this case, I'm asking a question, right? So in Spanish, when we make a question, basically what we do is we stress the verb. So we have tengo yo un carro. You see, tengo. If it's a statement, it's going to be yo tengo un carro. It's going to be flat. But in Spanish, you can write this in different ways. But if you want to make if you want to sound like a question, what you do is doesn't matter how you write the sentence, but you stress the verb. Tengo yo un carro or yo tengo un carro. So always goes like that. But if you write it, remember, you begin with a question mark or not, and then you can put it in different ways. You can say yo tengo un carro. Okay, this is one way of doing that. And then you close the question mark. Another way could be, for example, tengo yo un carro. You see, in this case, what I did is, instead of beginning with the subject, I begin with the verb, tengo. Doesn't matter the way you do it, because what is important is that when you say it, you stress the verb. Yo tengo un carro, tengo yo un carro, or you can also say, un carro tengo yo. So you see, in the last one, again, you just stress the verb. Un carro tengo yo. So that's the way people is going to know that you are asking for a question, okay? So how do you say, for example, Does he has a car? Does he has a car? ¿Tiene él un carro? ¿Él tiene un carro? So remember, that's the way you will do that. You will stress the verb. But if you write it, so you begin with a question mark at the beginning, going up, and a question mark when the question ends, going down. Okay. So, and well, for example, when you want to say, "Do we have a car? Do we have a car? ¿Tenemos un carro? ¿Tenemos nosotros un carro?" Okay. Un carro tenemos nosotros. So you can write that in different ways. Now, what happened with the other sentences that we have seen before? For example, imagine that you want to say something like, for example, you want to say something like, I speak Spanish. Okay, so you say, yo hablo español, right? So this means I speak Spanish. But what happens if you want to say, I don't speak Spanish? Well, and then in that case, you have to place the no here. No hablo español. And what happens if I want to say, do I speak Spanish? It's a question, right? Do I speak Spanish? So it will be, hablo yo español, and I close here, right? Well, you can also say, yo hablo español, and I close right here, okay? O español hablo yo, eh? But remember, when you say that, if it's a question, you want to stress the verb. Hablo yo español? Yo hablo español? So you see, it's very different an statement, which an statement will be yo hablo español, it's going to be flat. But when you ask a question, it's going to be yo hablo español. Eh? So, and imagine that you want to say, for example, I eat bread. I eat bread. Eat is comer, right? So it has to be yo como pan. Okay, negative. I don't eat bread. It will be yo no como pan. And if you want to make a question, well, you can even make a question in negative. So you can leave it like that. You put the question marks, and then you just stress the verb. Yo no como pan. Okay. Now, how do you say, for example, I have a car? I have a car. Yo tengo un carro. How do you say he has a car? Él tiene un carro. How do you say we have a car? Nosotros tenemos un carro. How do you say I don't have a car? Yo no tengo un carro. How do you say he doesn't have a car? Él no tiene un carro. How do you say we don't have a car? Nosotros no tenemos un carro. How do you ask? ¿Tengo yo un carro? ¿Tengo yo un carro? Do I have a car? Does he has a car? ¿Tiene él un carro? Do we have a car? ¿Tenemos nosotros un carro? How do you say, for example, I eat bread? Yo como pan. How do you say, I don't eat bread? Yo no como pan. How do you say, I eat this bread? I eat this bread. This, remember the demonstrative adjectives. So in this case, it's going to be I eat this bread. Will be I will be yo. Eat, como. This is close to me, right? Este, pan. So I use este here because pan is masculine singular. How do you say I don't eat this bread? I don't eat this bread. Well, yo no como este pan. Okay? How do you say do I eat this bread? Como yo este pan? Okay? Alright, so I hope you basically understood this chapter, and I see you in chapter 4 too.